There's a YouTuber called Anna Breeze on here, and she's a former BBC employee. Not sure what she does now. And she was a former associate of Alex Belfield, of all people. Anyway, she put a video out this morning stating that she's worried about a world without the BBC. Well, I think after recent events, the world and the country would be far better off without the BBC, because it is a woke, partisan, biased organisation that is always one-sided when it comes to reporting events. For example, during the Brexit campaign, it was pro-EU, and all the general election campaigns, it has always seemed that they want Labour to win. And of course, during the last two US presidential elections, it wanted Hillary to win in 2016 and Bungalow Joe Biden to win the last one. So when BBC journalists and reporters tell you that the BBC is free, fair and impartial, they're lying. And that is why I have never ever paid the TV licence fee. Now mix all that with all the nonsense that happened there over the past decades, and you have an organisation that's corrupt, disgusting and not fit for purpose. So anyone with any aspirations of working for them needs to give their heads a wobble. Now, at the time of me making this video, the BBC have just announced that they have suspended the suspected nonce, but they still haven't named him. And it's interesting how the BBC practice the innocent until proven guilty mantra when it comes to one of their own, especially when they're involved or accused of sexual deviancy. And yet they've had no problems whatsoever plastering other people's names in lights when it comes to someone else, or someone from not in the BBC. Cliff Richard, for example. They rushed their reporters and a news team to his property to film the local police force smash into Cliff Richard's house in order to look for evidence of noncery. And when it came to the Rotherham scandal, the BBC News plastered the victims, some as young as 9, as prostitutes. And they still haven't apologised to these kids. Now, can you imagine how toxic an organisation the BBC is, that all their presenters, top stars, top paid personalities, have each had to come out individually to declare they're not the nonce. And such is the reputation of this organisation that we are all kept guessing who this nonce is, because it could literally be any of them, and no one would be surprised at all. I wouldn't be surprised, whoever is named, that they're actually a pervert, because that is what we've come to expect from the BBC. I mean, Jimmy Savile, who'd have thought it? Rolf Harris, who'd have thought it? I mean, these were all household names that were deemed safe. I know Jimmy Savile looked creepy, but one of the most sinister traits of the groomer is that they're very convincing. They are very good at projecting towards people what they are not. And unfortunately, these are very, very smart people. So, you know, if some of the most wholesome individuals in the BBC, if there are any, and they were outed as this pervert, then I wouldn't be surprised. Now, the BBC is effectively a tax-funded organisation. It's also funded by the TV licence fee. And because the public are giving this organisation money, I think it should be transparent, more transparent than a window pane. And things like this should be revealed to the public immediately. And they should not be allowed under any circumstances to keep something as big as this, or anything, under wraps. And it took them long enough to suspend this guy. I mean, the mother of the victim reported this incident to the BBC back in May. I think it was May 19th. The BBC did nothing. The guy was still in his job, and the guy was still sending the victim money, thousands of pounds a month later. But it's come for this to happen, for them to do something and suspend him. And like I said in my previous video, they had no intention of doing absolutely anything, because when it comes to the BBC, it's innocent until proven guilty, but they don't practice that when it comes to anyone else, do they? And you know, I would put good money on the line and bet this guy isn't the only one either. Because if you knew an organisation didn't do anything about stuff like this, and people were either dealt leniently or they could get away with it, Wouldn't you go to work there and do more of what you indulge in to get away with it? Like I said, the pedos are smart, aren't they? They are very, very smart people. Anyway, that's my video. Hope you like. Let me know what you think in the comments. Until the next time, Roger Trout.